Hey everyone, welcome back. So I have been getting a lot of messages to make a video on Darakaraka. So finally here it is. I am starting a full-fledged Darakaraka series starting with this video. And before I start, I want to say something. So this is the video on one of the topics in Jyotish that is so personal to me that when you understand it, it changes how you see yourself in relationships. And this is why it is very important to know what Darakaraka actually means. It changes your your perception, what you actually need versus what you think you want. So, guys, sit with me, get comfortable, make your chai, get your coffee, and let's begin with this Darakaraka series. Om Namah Shivaya. Darakaraka is a Sanskrit word. Dara means spouse, partner, the one you share your life with, and Karakaraka means significator, the one who carries the energy of something. So Darakaraka literally means the significator of your spouse, the planet that basically holds the blueprint of your partner. Darakaraka is a Gemini concept. According to Gemini philosophy, every planet in your chart gets a rank. Based on its degree, the planet with the lowest degree in your chart, that planet becomes your Darakaraka. So from Sun to Saturn, in some systems, Rahu and Ketu are also included. So whichever planet has the lowest degree in your chart, it becomes your Darakaraka. Now, why the lowest degree? Because in Gemini philosophy, the planet that has traveled the least distance in that sign still has the most journey ahead of it. It's still moving towards something. And that movement, that seeking, that's the energy of your spouse. Someone who is still becoming, someone who is in a journey of becoming. Darakaraka doesn't just tell you about your spouse's physical appearance or the career or surface level stuff. Darakaraka is more about it. It tells you about the soul's quality of your partner, what kind of energy they carry, what lessons they bring into your life, what kind of themes will dominate your relationship, what kind of energy will be there, at a deep and karmic level. So Darakaraka isn't just about who will, make you happy. It's about who will make you grow, who you will be with, the real soul. Okay, now that you have some idea about what Darakaraka actually means, let's get into the planets. First thing you need to see is what planet has the lowest degree in your chart. Whatever planet it can be, the planet will have around 0 to 1 degree or something. So let's get into it. Let's deep dive into the planet one by one, starting with the sun. Now, sun as Darakaraka. So, if the sun is your Darakaraka, the single most important word for your relationship is respect. Not just love, not compatibility, but respect along with authority and recognition is also very important for you. Your partner, in some form or another, is going to carry a solar quality. This is something about them that stands out, something that commands attention when they walk into a room. Also, they might be in a leadership position, have doing a government work, or have some government association. They might have a strong sense of self that is almost impossible to miss, or they might simply have this quality of dignity, like very serious about it. Like they carry themselves in a way that makes you feel like you are with someone very significant, very important. And interestingly, you would like that. You would like that quality. You are drawn to that. You don't want a partner who blends in. You want someone whose light is visible. But and this is really important that if your sun is Darakaraka, it can also mean that there will be ego dynamics. That will be central theme in your relationship. So, like sun rules the ego, the self, and when two people both are trying to shine, things can get heated. There can be power struggle. There can be a sense of like who is the leader, who has the final say, who is making the decisions, and this doesn't make the relationship bad. It simply means the relationship requires maturity. You need to be very mature in taking decisions and not letting ego affect it. You need to honor each other's individuality without making it a competition. Now, if your Darakaraka is son, your partner may also have themes of father figure, like I said, very authoritative connections with the government or the administration, either in their work or how they show up emotionally. You will definitely feel this. And they might also have a complex relationship with their father. Maybe you can try checking this. For women, especially if you have Sun as Darakaraka, your husband will be someone with a strong identity, someone who takes pride in what they do, someone with who might struggle to apologize because Sun that doesn't naturally bow down easily. And for men also, the qualities you embody in a relationship, what you project onto a partner will carry this solar quality. So your growth comes from learning to share the spotlight rather than always holding it. And remember, do not let ego affect it. All right. Moon as Darakaraka. Oh, my heart just softens a little when I think about this one. I love Moon. Alright, so if Moon is your Darakaraka, love for you is home. It's that simple and that profound. What you are looking for in a partner, what your soul craves in a relationship is the feeling of home, feeling of safety, belonging, a place where you can fully exhale. So your partner will carry lunar energy. They will be very nurturing, emotional, sensitive, intuitive. You will definitely like these qualities, and they might be someone who takes care of others naturally. Someone who feels everything deeply, someone who has very strong connection to their mother or to the concept of family. In some cases, they work in fields connected to care, maybe nursing, counseling, teaching. Children's will definitely be involved, something that involves nurturing others. But here is what I really want you to hear is that Moon Darakaraka means your relationship is fundamentally emotional, not transactional, not intellectual, but completely emotional. You are a very emotional person, and the emotional temperature of your partnership will be very important thing. If the emotional connection is good, everything else can be worked through. But if it's off, nothing else can compensate. So you need a partner who can sit with feelings, who doesn't run from emotional conversations, who can hold space. And then there is a shadow side also. And moon always has a shadow, right? So moon Darakaraka relationships can sometimes become emotionally codependent because the need for emotional safety is so deep that there can be a tendency to cling, to become the other person's entire emotional world. To stay in a situation that have stopped being nourishing simply because they feel familiar. Moon Darakaraka relationships will have a visible emotional cycle. Like there will be high times, low times. You need to learn to trust the cycle instead of panicking. There is growth. Your partner may also be someone with strong intuition, someone who just knows things, who picks up on what you're saying, like which is really beautiful, but it also means you can't really hide from them. Uh, yeah. So, if this sounds like a relationship you had, look at the pattern. Often, Darakaraka shows up in who you keep attracting, even when you think you are choosing differently. So, now let's move ahead. Mercury makes me think of conversations. So, if Mercury is your Darakaraka, the foundation of your relationship is mental connection. It is very important. Communication is very important. Words, ideas, the ability to talk for hours and never run out of things to say. Your partner will carry mercurial energy. They will be witty, clever, curious, probably, very articulate. The kind of person who makes you laugh with the way they phrase something. The kind who can explain something complicated in very simple words, very easily, making it feel obvious. There is lightness to them and adaptability. So Mercury changes, Mercury moves, Mercury connect things. And for you, a relationship would mean like without intellectual simulation, it's not possible. It's not possible. It's a slow death. You need to be able to discuss things. You need a partner who engages your mind, not just your heart or your body. Boredom is the enemy of a Mercury Darakaraka marriage. Stagnation, repetition without depth, it's not possible. And one interesting thing about Mercury Darakaraka is that humor is serious business in your relationship. Not jokes as a way to deflect, but genuine wit. You know, it's a way you both will connect, and you would love it. You definitely love it. So, if you and your partner can laugh together, you can survive a lot. I truly believe that. You need to be friends. You need to be besties. And Mercury also rules youth. So there is something very youthful about your partner. You know, maybe they can be young, but maybe in spirit also. Not just in age, but in spirit also, they'll be very young, very childlike, very joyful. And in relationship also, there will be a lot of lightness. It will be joyful. So people would be like, "Oh, you two seem to be like you are having fun. You two are always laughing and always, having a good time. It's not like very cheesy type." But the shadow here is inconsistency. Mercury keeps changing. It keeps changing its mind. So Mercury can be very non-committed. It can keep things surface when depth is required. And in relationship, the challenge is going from conversations to vulnerability. No? So because talking about ideas is easy, talking about pain, about need, about fear, it's not easy. It requires deep. It requires maturity. So the growth is learning the real intimacy. Uh, it's just not mental. It's allowing yourself to be known, not just understood. So that's about your Mercury Darakaraka. It's very nice and interesting. Now moving ahead to Jupiter. Not Jupiter, we are now starting with Venus. So if your Darakaraka is Venus, this is such a beautiful and complex placement. So basically, all I want to say is people generally think that because Venus is natural Karakaraka of marriage, it doesn't mean Venus Darakaraka is easy or guaranteed to be great and wonderful. It is wonderful, but not always. This is a misconception. So Venus Darakaraka means Venus themes are amplified. Uh, Amplification like both light and the shadow. So your partner will be Venusian in some way, like beautiful, not necessarily physically, though often yes, physically also, but beautiful in their presence, their energy, and in how they carry themselves. There will be a venison energy, and in their love, they will be like in love with art, with pleasure, refinement, aesthetic. Aesthetic is important to them, and they would really appreciate the beauty and would like to see beauty around themselves. So for the person with Venus Darakaraka, love is felt through the senses, through shared experiences. Now, it can be through music. It can be the way you present yourself very gracefully. It can be the way you dress up. Maybe through food you share together, and maybe the softness in ordinary moments that make it special. So, love is kind of real love, and there is something very, very romantic about Venus Darakaraka partnerships. I mean, the kind of love that feels like it should be like in the movies. It's a movie. It really feels like that. It is beautiful and very quality. Now, because Venus loves the ideal, and real relationships are never purely ideal. Shadow side that I was mentioning, I've mentioned earlier, the shadow of Venus is itself. It's the, vanity, it's indulgence, it's avoiding difficult conversations to keep the peace. Sometimes they really do that. It's the shadow part, staying in something comfortable, past, not moving on from it. Venus doesn't like to confront. He doesn't like to disrupt the peace, the beautiful, the beauty. On the surface, beauty, by the way. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do in a relationship is have the hard conversations. I truly believe that. And Venus in people may sometimes move away from it. Now, your partner might also have strong connection to art, music, finance, beauty industries, and they will definitely be a bit diplomatic also. They would be very, very charming. And like if you have a Venus Darakaraka, then your relationship will be tested by pleasure itself, by the question of whether you can sustain depth when the surface is already very appealing, very magnetism. So that's all about Venus as Darakaraka, guys. Hey, if Jupiter is your Darakaraka, there is something genuinely sacred about how love functions in your life. And I mean that word carefully, sacred, literally. Because Jupiter is the Guru. Jupiter means wisdom. Jupiter is basically the bridge between the human and divine, the God. And if you have Dharakaraka Jupiter, then your partner will carry a Jupiterian quality. They will be, or they will become over time someone who teaches you something, teaches lesson. So love, my dear, would be really lesson for you, both in positive and negative ways. Uh, like not in a very condescending way, like I know better than you, not that way, but where being with them expands your horizon, expand your understanding of life. of yourself. You would understand the relationship in a different manner. So your partner will have a quality of generosity. You know, they will be very much giving in nature. They would give freely to others. They would like to do for others, for the society, and they won't be someone who operates in for scarcity. They would be very spiritual, very philosophical, religious also, and your relationship would be very. You'll see growth in it, and you and your partner will likely explore the meaning of life together. If you are not someone spiritual, then after getting married, you'll definitely see a change in yourself in spiritual side. Now you will become religious. You would like to travel to places of spirituality, of wisdom, and all this are related to Jupiter Darakaraka. You might also meet with them in a spiritual gathering, in some temple, in maybe in educational institution also, because Jupiter means study, education, guru, and Jupiter also rules blessing. So Jupiter Darakaraka means the relationship itself is a form of divine's grace. It's a blessing to you, and it's very considered very lucky. So you will also feel very gratitude of being in a relationship after you meet this person. You would feel like you're blessed. Divine has blessed you with something. If Saturn is your Darakaraka, then you need to hear this. So often, I feel that Saturn as a planet is one of the most misunderstood one in Jyotish. People hear Saturn and they feel it's negative. It's something very bad. There will be delays, restriction. It would be very difficult. Life will become difficult, and generally we associate difficulty and with Saturn only. So it is a very misunderstood, I believe. Uh, And as a Darakaraka, people think that, oh my god, it is ruined, life is ruined. But it's not totally like that. I mean, yes, Saturn Darakaraka means a journey to find your partner or to have a stable relationship will take longer, definitely. Um, Saturn is a slow planet. It is not in a hurry. It does not believe in shortcuts. And if you have been someone who feels or who has felt like love has been delayed for you, like all your friends might have found their partners, they're happy, and you feel like you are the only one waiting, then yes, definitely it can be like Saturn Darakaraka might be explaining why, but that's not all, right? There is, Saturn is building something. Saturn makes you wait, but it also rewards you. Saturn makes the foundation. So if your Darakaraka is Saturn, then your partner will carry Saturnian qualities. Now, what is a Saturnian quality mean? You know, it means they would be very disciplined. They would be reliable. In today's era, finding someone loyal and reliable is a big thing, I tell you. When they say something, they really mean it. They show up. They follow through. They don't say just anything. They're not flashy or dramatic. They are consistent. They might be slow to come, but when they come, they are there. They are there. They might be terrible at showing you how much they love you or how much they care, but they won't miss any moment in your life. You won't feel, yes, their presence might be delayed, but you'll definitely feel it. So Saturn Darakaraka. partnerships often deepen with time. It is very, very rare. The relationship with the Saturnian person, or when you have Saturn Darakaraka, the relationship is, it feels okay in the first year, and very slow. You might think this may not work out, but when it does work out, like in the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 10th year, I'm not saying it'll take 10 years, but when it settles down, it would feel extraordinary. It would feel the real deal. So love that people look at when you are 70 and think, my God, what they have. It's real. It's true love. This kind of love. Now, when Saturn is your Darakaraka, your partner may be older than you in age. They may be more mature than you. They might have more life experiences than you. Um, or it can also be possible that they might have a harder life, a very serious upbringing with very responsibilities. Mm, and they will also be grounded, very, very humble. They might look very serious type, but they would definitely be, because life has been challenging to them. They can be emotionally restricted, not really expressive. Uh, they might struggle to verbalize their feelings. Might they might show their love through actions or services. They would love to do things for you, but being expressive about it would be difficult for them. What else is Saturn Darakaraka? Now, on a shadow side, Saturn Darakaraka can also feel like responsibility, duty. Relationship or the bond might feel like a responsibility or duty. It will have certain weight to it. It would be very serious in nature. Not necessarily suffocating, but it it will be very much serious, and your love story will have integrity. I think this is the most important and beautiful thing about Saturn Darakaraka. It will build on something that is real, and I think the weight is truly worth it. You will feel that it's worth it. So that's all about Saturn Darakaraka, guys. If you like this video and want more such videos, then do let me know in the comments. Alright. So if you have Mars as Darakaraka, your person is passionate, direct, and sometimes too direct also, which might create issues like conflicts. And I mean, like, it's just Mars, it doesn't know how to be indirect. They act, they don't sit and think for like many days and about a decision. They just go and get it done. That's the Mars energy, you guys. And now, if you have Mars as Tarakaraka, you are meant to be with someone who challenges you, who doesn't let you get too comfortable, who pushes, to do better things, to act right, to step up, to upgrade yourself. And you are not built for quiet love. It's passionate. So if you have Mars as Tarakaraka, sometimes it can also mean conflict in relationship. And I'm not saying it's violent or harmful relationship. Please don't get that. I am not saying that. Just that it means disagreements, debates, clashes. Uh, so the relationship where two people fight, but they also sort out and come back stronger. No? That's actually Mars energy. So Mars as Darakaraka does not tolerate passivity. It's very much passionate but doesn't like passivity at all. Silence as a weapon is painful to them than any argument. You can argue with them, but they can't tolerate silence, silent treatment. So now your your partner, might also have strong opinions about physical things, about fitness. They might be into fitness. They can be a fitness freak. Uh, they love action. They like work. They like work, building things, protecting people they love. So they are like very energetic and very courageous. They like to be the protector in some way. So as overall, I see Mars Darakaraka relationship. It is one of the most alive, passionate, and deeply committed partnership you'll ever see. Don't be scared of it. It's really passionate and amazing. All right. So now that we have completed all the seven planets, so these are the planets that in traditional Jyotish they majorly work with all the seven planets. But Rahu and Ketu, they are not always included in Darakaraka calculation. So some astrologers strictly keep it to the seven planets only, Sun to Saturn, and that's completely valid. But some of the modern practitioners also include Ketu and Rahu. So honestly, I have seen this to show up very powerfully in people's chart. So when it comes to relationship, that I couldn't just leave them out. So you can also try checking Rahu and Ketu also. Now stay with me because now I'm gonna start with Ketu. So if your Darakaraka is Ketu, then I think Ketu as a planet is the most spiritual of all. Ketu means your soul has a very old relationship with love. It's very old soul. It has a past life connection. Now, there is a sense with Ketu Darakaraka that this is not your first time navigating love with this kind of soul. Like, you won't feel first time. You would feel there is a connection. You have been here before. It is very uh, deep, and the wounds are also deep. The connection feels deep, but the wounds are also likewise deep. Now, your partner might be someone who is kind of detached, spiritually inclined, very spiritual. They can be an introvert person who doesn't like to talk much. They would have a lot of wisdom, but they might not like to talk about it or mix up with people. They would like to keep up to themselves. You know, there is something about them that feels ancient, that feels wise. Wiser than their age. In a room they might not be the loudest person, as I said. They But when they speak, it will have weight. Like, you'll know that this person has wisdom. They might not speak that much, but whenever they do, it has something very solid to say. Now, Ketu as a Darakaraka in relationship, often it feels like it has a quality of recognition. Like I mentioned, it feels really old, ancient connection. Like meeting someone for the first time, and then you feel like you already know them. Like, you just know them, or you feel that you have known them, you have met them before. There is a connection to this. Now, it also means in relationship, it's very detached kind of energy. It can also look like a partnership that involves physical separation. There can be distance. There can be you can live in different cities. There will be long distance, um, or maybe you guys are partners who work, independently, in different cities, or independent from each other by nature. So Ketu Darakaraka can sometimes indicate a relationship where one or both people struggle to be fully present, like I said, very detached kind of energy. There can also be an energy of past life death to complete relationship that are really powerful and profoundly meaningful, and also clearly time limited in some way. So Ketu as a Darakaraka is very very spiritual experience, guys. Rahu as Darakaraka, it means your love story is unusual. Unusual in a sense that it doesn't follow the expected path. It doesn't look like what everyone around you have. You know, it is very different. It is very unique. And Rahu is also obsession. It is a hunger that uh, cannot be named, cannot be controlled. It is also fascination. It is also foreign, very unconventional, very rule breaking. So your partner can also be from a different culture background, has foreign terms, foreign connections. It is very unconventional, maybe out of your caste, or maybe religion, maybe something that is, beyond your regular circle. Now, there is almost something different about your partner in a way that others also might notice. Maybe they are from, a different, like I said, a different religion, or maybe very unusual profession, modern day profession. Also, they can be influencer, social media influencer, um, digital marketing, or maybe in the stocks trading. Um, Also, if Rahu is your Darakaraka, it also might be possible that the way you meet them is very unexpected, something you did plan out. It is very sudden. And for you, having Rahu as Darakaraka, ordinary love doesn't quite cut it. You need a little spark. You need that kick. You need something that feels like a little obsession at the beginning. They need to have a intensity, very strong intensity. Now, Rahu Darakaraka people often describe falling in love as like feeling obsessive, feeling crazy, clingy, uh, almost like possessed in a best way. Like you always want to be around that person. Rahu is also illusion. So, what is real and what is projection? It might not be clear in the very beginning of a relationship. You might be confused, you might be obsessive, you might want to know more about them. Uh, how crush is the feeling that, oh, you want to know more. Uh, but it also feels like illusion. It also feels like you do not have the clarity. It can be very hard to see your partner clearly. There is a fog of fascination, and sometimes when the fog lifts, the person underneath isn't who you thought they were. You get the clarity. Eventually, you get it. That's all about the Darakaraka video, guys. I have laid out everything as I know how, all the planets, all the energies. But a wonderful reading where we look at your Darakaraka in the context of your whole chart, like where it sits, in which house it is in, how it is aspected. So you let me know in the comments. I will do an individual Darakaraka video where we will talk about all of this in details. Now, guys, this is a new channel, so do let me know your suggestion, what things you like, what things you didn't. I still fumble, but I'm learning as I do all these videos, and I would love to hear your suggestions and take them positively. So please, please, please do comment and let me know. And that's all, guys. Do like this video if you find it helpful, and do subscribe and share with your friends. And don't forget to drop your Darakaraka in the comments. I genuinely read all the comments. I know there are few, it's new channel, but I do get a lot of DMs on my Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, go check out my Instagram account. I'll drop it in the description, and you can find it here as well. So guys, see you in the next one. Till then, take care of yourselves. Love yourselves. Bye bye. Om Namah Shivaya.